Hello, welcome Gold Derby. I'm Daniel Montgomery here with Tom O'Neill and Charlie Bright here to announce the winners of the 13th annual Gold Derby Film Awards. We had almost 1,000 users a vote for the winners here, so we all know these are far more important than the Oscars. So we will not keep you waiting any longer. I'm going to get things started with our first two categories, which are going to be best foreign language film and best documentary. The nominees for best foreign language film are Force Majeure from Sweden, Ida from Poland, Leviathan from Russia, Mommy from Canada, and 2 days.
Call from AP.
And Tom's getting a call on the write-in vote, I'm sure.
Tom's phone is the winner of this category.
All right, sorry about that ringing phone. Is it my turn now?
Oh no, not yet. I'm still.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The winner of that category, if the phone wasn't to protest that or for something, the winner of that category is Ida from Poland. You can expect that kind of drama throughout this presentation. We promise you fireworks and possibly a mystery of some kind, or I don't know. We haven't worked all that out yet. But Ida was the winner for Best Foreign Language Film, and that was a pretty secure win. I thought it would be kind of closer with 2 Days, One Night, which did finish in second place in the voting. But Ida had a good 100-point advantage in this race. The next category, though, I will say, up front, was the closest category of these awards with a four vote margin of victory here. Best documentary. The nominees are The Case Against Eight, Citizen 4, Jodorowsky's Dune, Life Itself, and Virunga. And the winner by just 4 votes in this category was Citizen 4. It defeated Life Itself, the Roger Ebert documentary, by just a hair. And actually, Life Itself was leading this category for most of the voting, and Citizen 4 pulled ahead just at the end there. Now to present our next two categories, animated feature and visual effects, to hand it off to you, Tom.
Okay, sorry about all the mayhem over at my end here. I should have unplugged all the phones before we started. Okay, now this is the fun category. This is Best Animated Feature. The nominees are Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, The Lego Movie, and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, whatever the heck that thing is. And the winner is the Oscar-slighted Lego Movie.
A humongous landslide. This wasn't even close. It had more votes than its competitors combined.
Do you suspect, I know that a lot of that was sympathy, or do you think they really just loved the movie that much, or both?
I think it would have gotten them anyway. I think it was just a surprise that it got snubbed at the Oscars. It's been winning everywhere it's been nominated. I don't think it's necessarily sympathy vote as the fact that this always seemed like it should have been the front runner.
Really? Well, not by my vote. I voted for Big Hero 6, but that's that's just me. You're not supposed to be heard from for one more category, Charlie Bright. All right, I still have one more to go. Visual effects, the category you're all waiting for, of course. Birdman, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Godzilla, Guardian of the Galaxies, and Interstellar. And the winner is Interstellar.
And that was also a pretty secure win. Interstellar has sort of been the front runner, it seems, at all these awards for a while. Even though it did lose the Visual Effects Society Awards to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, so that could be interesting at the Oscars. But here, where Gold Derby's users clearly liked Interstellar a lot more than the Oscars, we nominated it for Best Picture. This was a pretty secure win.
Charlie, go ahead.
All right, so my first category is the one I know you're all waiting for, Best Sound. And unlike the Oscars, we combine it all into one thing. It's like a burrito, and it's wonderful. Our nominees are American Sniper, Birdman, Interstellar, Into the Woods, and Whiplash. The envelope, please, sir. Thank you. And the honor goes to Whiplash. That won't be a running gag. This was just the one time.
No, first of all, I just wanted to say, I'm going to suggest we change the name next year to Best Sound Burrito. I want that next year.
Chipotle presents Best Sound Burrito.
Well, what surprised me about that category was how far ahead Whiplash was ahead of Interstellar in our voting. Of course, we nominated both for Best Picture, but Whiplash was the clear winner here.
And by the way, at the Oscars, it's only nominated for sound mixing, not for sound editing. So if you are one of those people who are saying, all right, I want to predict American Sniper to win both, because most people are predicting Sniper for sound editing, there are people like me who are putting Whiplash for sound mixing because that's the only place it's popping up, and then Sniper for sound editing. But this may be telling, although I do not often recommend going with the Gold Derby award winner for your Oscar predictions, because it led me off a thin, shaky limb last year, much to my embarrassment as a pundit, when I thought, well, you know what? Normally, the vote outcome of the Gold Derby Awards is fairly close to the Oscars, and even if something else wins, the Oscar winner tends to be pretty close to what our alternative is. But there was a runaway last year for Leo DiCaprio. The rest of the categories were lining up with expectations pretty much, even where there was some difference. And but Leo was 22 miles out front for Best Actor. So I was thinking, well, I'm going to predict him over McConaughey for Best Actor. I'm going to catch that Oscar upset. Well, wrong.
Oh, yes, Tom. I thought that was so funny when you were doing that.
But I was doing it in the honor of the Gold Derby Awards, thinking that we had some clairvoyance here.
And in Judaism, that translates to, this is your fault that this happened.
Exactly. Good. I love that.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. It all lumps into just basically New Yorker stuff. Our next category, Best Song. Our nominees are from Begin Again, the song Lost Stars, from Big Eyes, the song Big Eyes, from The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1, Yellow Flicker Beat, from the Lego Movie, Everything is Awesome, from Selma, the song Glory, and our winner here is Glory from Selma for Common and John Legend.
Yes, and that was another close one. That was a squeaker. Not as big a squeaker as documentary feature. This was less than 20 votes, separating Glory from the second place song, which was Everything is Awesome. And Lost Stars also had some support, but it wasn't really close to the front runners there.
All right. Love Awesome. I'd love to see an upset at the Oscars, too.
And that brings us to our second music category, Best Score, and I'll open by saying this was the closest category top to bottom. There was, every single nominee for Best Score got at least 100 votes, and that's true in no other category. The nominees are Birdman, Gone Girl, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Interstellar, and The Theory of Everything. And the winner for Best Score, and this kind of surprised me actually, but I'm very happy to report, Interstellar won Best Score. This was, its closest competitor was the Grand Budapest Hotel. It was just over 20 points ahead of that, and then another 7 points behind that was Theory of Everything. Birdman was 20 points behind that, and then Gone Girl was about 25 points, south of that. So everything was really bunched up close together here. But the winner here was Interstellar. The nominees for Best Production Design are Birdman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Interstellar, Into the Woods, and Snowpiercer. And the winner here is The Grand Budapest Hotel. And speaking of close races, this wasn't one. This was a blowout, complete blowout.
But that's a shame in a way. Into the Woods should have had some votes. I voted for it. I think that
Snowpiercer should have too.
Yeah, that would have been a worthy one. Absolutely.
Snowpiercer finished second. Snowpiercer was second just by 350 votes.
Okay. All right. Well, now on to the category that is perfect for Tom O'Neill, because I do have the craziest hair in the history of the world. So now I do the category here for makeup and hair. And the nominees are Foxcatcher, the Grand Budapest Hotel, Guardians of the Galaxy, Into the Woods, and Maleficent. And the winner is Guardians of the Galaxy. Very, very interesting and very, very worthy.
Another close category. This and Grand Budapest Hotel were pretty close, 20 votes separating them, but everything else was pretty much out of the running here. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the Oscars, because the Oscar usually goes to the best makeup and hairstyling in a Best Picture nominee. So, Guardians of the Galaxy might seem like it's at a disadvantage there.
Best Film Editing. Now, this is where Birdman is nominated at the Gold Derby Awards, is not nominated at the Oscars. Of course, that's a very controversial thing, because if you believe that Birdman's going to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, then it should have that corresponding nomination. It's been more than 30 years that a film has not. So, or is it more than that? Actually, 1981, 1980, something like that, right? So, that said, the nominees for film editing: Birdman, Boyhood, Gone Girl, Interstellar, Whiplash. And the winner is Whiplash, which I think is going to win at the Oscars, too.
Yeah, it definitely could. This one wasn't that close. It had a good 30 to 40 point advantage here. It finished just ahead of Boyhood, and Birdman finished not far behind in third place.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. For Best Costume Design, our nominees are The Grand Budapest Hotel, Guardians of the Galaxy, Into the Woods, Maleficent, and Mr. Turner. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Milena Coronero for The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Into the Woods is robbed, I tell you.
Into the Woods did finish second in this category, but yeah, just like production design, this was a complete blowout for Grand Budapest Hotel. It finished ahead by almost 300 votes.
There is such attention to detail, by the way, in the costumes of Budapest, that if you notice that the uniforms that the hotel, the men in the hotel wear are blue and red, right? But even the trimming along the collars, a very fine red threading, that kind of detail mattered a lot to them, to Wes Anderson for some reason. So they certainly deserve this award. But Into the Woods was more flamboyant. Think of Meryl Streep in the woods, right? In that costume.
And for Best Cinematography, one of my personal favorite categories, the nominees are Birdman, Gone Girl, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Ida, Interstellar, and Mr. Turner. And the Gold Derby Film Award goes to Birdman for cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki.
Yeah, that was, I wish I could say, this category was so close, of course, in the nominations phase that we had 6 nominees because there was a tie in that fifth place slot, but the winner vote was not close. Birdman had this all the way, and then Grand Budapest Hotel and Interstellar were almost tied in second place. And
he won this last year, didn't he? For Gravity.
He did, yeah, and he's likely to do so at the Oscars if everything goes as expected. He does lead our predictions there. Okay, that brings us to 2 categories that aren't at the Oscars, which makes them more exciting, I think. First, the nominees for Best Breakthrough Performer. These are the actors are nominated by themselves, not with their associated films, because in a couple of cases they had more than one project over the course of the year. The nominees for Breakthrough Performer were Carrie Coon, David Oyelowo, Rosamund Pike, Chris Pratt, and Miles Teller. And the Gold Derby Award went to Rosamund Pike. And of course, she had a couple of films last year, but really Gone Girl was her big vehicle, obviously, her big breakout vehicle. She finished pretty comfortably ahead of Chris Pratt and Miles Teller in this race. And David Oyelowo was kind of a close, 4th place in there too. And that brings us to Best Ensemble. We have slightly different nominees from the SAG Awards here. Our nominees are Birdman, Boyhood, Gone Girl, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Into the Woods. And the Gold Derby Award for Best Ensemble goes to Birdman. And I thought this would be a closer category, but this was not one. Birdman won this pretty handily.
And it won a SAG Award, the equivalent prize, too, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, then moving on to the Screenplay Awards. We'll start with Adapted Screenplay. The nominees are Gone Girl, Guardians of the Galaxy. Isn't it cool that we nominated that? Or you nominated that, you Gold Derby users. The Imitation Game, Inherent Vice, and Theory of Everything. And the winner is Gone Girl. Now this movie really deserves a lot more awards love than it's been getting on the circuit, and that's why I like the fact that Rosamund Pike won our Breakthrough Performer Award too. It's got these two big prizes here. And Daniel, let me ask you: do you think that Rosamund Pike would be the front runner for lead actress if Julianne Moore wasn't hogging the spotlight right now, or do you think it would be Reese?
Normally I would have said yes, but Gone Girl, you know, the Academy showed such a distaste for that movie overall. I mean, they didn't nominate it for Adapted Screenplay, which was a much less competitive category this year because all of the heavy Best Picture frontrunners were in the original category this year, and they still didn't nominate it. They didn't nominate any of the crafts, even though, you know, David Fincher film, you know, are usually very popular in the crafts categories. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Social Network, and even The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which wasn't nominated for Best Picture, did well in crafts categories. So yeah, they really didn't like this movie, but which is weird because Gone Girl dominated our category for Adapted Screenplay. It won everything. It had more votes than, again, all the other nominees in this category combined. So I'm not sure what happened at the Oscars. But I don't think it would have been Rosamund Pike instead of Julianne Moore. I think it might have been actually Felicity Jones, because that was the only other nominee for Best Actress who, you know, the film had any other support, and she hadn't won before.
Okay, interesting.
I would say that, just at my own little, I would say that I think the race would actually be wide open, and could even have room for someone like Marion Cotillard could have possibly.
Ugh, that movie. Have you seen that movie? Oh, it's unwatchably bad.
Well, I have not seen it yet, but I will say.
Time.
But
I loved the film. It's one of my favorites. So.
Oh, come on, Daniel! You're officially insane. Oh.
I will say that I just think that this race would be wide open if Julianne Moore weren't in there, especially because normally I would say Rosamund Pike would have been the front runner, but because of how it underperformed everywhere else, especially in the adapted screenplay category, where a lot of us thought it was the front runner to win, and it doesn't even get nominated. I mean, that was quite a shock. And so I think if Julianne Moore weren't in this race would be complete free for all.
My theory as to why it wasn't nominated generously at the Oscars is because it's called Gone Girl, and 77% of the Academy are old men. The nominees for Best Original Screenplay: Birdman, Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel, Nightcrawler, and Whiplash. And before I announce the winner here, notice, Derbyites, that Whiplash is in the original category where it belongs instead of Best Animated, where it is at the Oscars, and that kind of throws everything and screws things up there. But that said, the winner for Best Original Screenplay is Grand Budapest Hotel. So if you think that, oh, Birdman's going to win Best Picture and therefore it has to win Best Screenplay, which is the logic I was using for a while, let this be a lesson to you that at least our voters think Budapest wins here, and I think this may be telling with the Oscars as well. I switched over to Budapest.
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky category at the Oscars. I'm still on Birdman just because I feel like, the last time a Best Picture winner didn't win the screenplay category was The Artist, which sort of made sense because that was a silent film. And then before that, it was, I think you have to go back to $1 Million Baby to find a Best Picture winner that didn't pick up the screenplay award. So. Yeah.
And Birdman won the screenplay award at the Golden Globes, etc. I know it's really worth choice. Yeah. Charlie,
okay. Yes.
No, Daniel's turn. Who's next?
It's Charlie doing the supporting category.
Charlie. Gotcha,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't know, because the way you view these categories, I guess I'm just presenting one whole category with two halves. Since they're the supporting categories. Best Supporting Actress, our nominees are Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, Jessica Chastain for A Most Violent Year, Emma Stone for Birdman, Meryl Streep for Into the Woods, and Tilda Swinton for Snowpiercer.
It's her next film.
And let's face it, we'd all watch it and love it. But the Gold Derby Award goes to Patricia Arquette for Boyhood.
Yeah, that was pretty. This was sort of one of those categories. It's just like, yeah, that was just always going to happen. Tilda Swinton finished honorably in second place, but it wasn't really close. This was always Patricia Arquette.
Interesting.
And for Best Supporting Actor, just 5 magnificent nominees, and me and my presenter dialogue. The nominees are Ethan Hawke for Boyhood, Edward Norton for Birdman, Mark Ruffalo for Foxcatcher, Andy Serkis for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, J.K. Simmons, and our winner here, no surprise, but very deserved, J.K. Simmons for Whiplash.
Yeah, another complete blowout.
How many votes did Serkis get, Daniel?
Serkis finished in 4th place.
Oh, come on. Really?
And it's no shame in getting not many votes, because basically J.K. Simmons, I think J.K. Simmons might have been the biggest blowout of any category this year. J.K. Simmons had 481 votes. Second place, Edward Norton had 122. Andy Serkis down in 4th with 59.
Yeah, but our posters and the message boards are always bitch, Andy Serkis isn't being taken seriously by the Oscars, blah, 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 blah. And of course, that's the mantra across film done. Well, here was your big chance, Derbyites, to give him an award, or at least to have him do better than, 59 votes, and you blew it. At least you nominated him, though.
We nominated him, though. That's a great thing, that we took the statement, that our users took the statement to nominate him.
Okay.
And all of those, I'm sure every single, all 59 of those Angry Forum posters were.
Daniel, I think you just froze up on us. Try again.
Oh, it's.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, gotcha. Moving on to the lead acting categories, the nominees for Best Actress are Jennifer Aniston in Cake, Marion Cotillard in A Wonderful Film.
Boo! Boo!
Wonderful. In fact, I'm going to do a correction here to make it win. Julianne Moore in Still Alice, Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl, and Reese Witherspoon in Wild. And this result will make Tom happy just because it's not Marion Cotillard.
You froze up there, Daniel, or did everybody hear that? Do it again.
And also, it's I think it's it goes to the fact that the Gold Derby Awards don't owe Julianne Moore because we awarded her ages ago for Far From Heaven. We are way ahead of the Oscars on that one. So the Oscars have some making up to do. So.
But I'm not sure if everybody heard that or not because your screen froze up again. Our winner is Rosamund Pike. Way to go, Derbyites. I take it all back. All that yelling I just did about you, Andy Serkis. You done good here, kiddos.
If I'm still coming through, am I coming through well, or my screen?
Yes, you're fine now.
Clear and plain and coming through fine.
So I'll try and get through Best Actor before anything else cuts out. The nominees are, I'll practice speed reading for next time, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game, Ralph Fiennes in The Grand Budapest Hotel, Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler, Michael Keaton in Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Michael Keaton in Birdman, not Eddie Redmayne.
Whoa!
And by by about 70 votes, it was a comfortable margin. But the Gold Derby, our users didn't cotton to Theory of Everything as much as the Academy did. We only nominated it 3 times. We didn't nominate Felicity Jones. We didn't nominate it for Best Picture. So it's not necessarily that surprising to me, just because our users clearly had a greater affection for Birdman.
How did Jake Gyllenhaal and Ralph Fiennes do, the two non-Oscar nominees here?
Jake Gyllenhaal finished 3rd, right behind Eddie Redmayne, and Fiennes finished 4th. Poor Cumberbatch finished last.
Whoa, Cumberbitches, your hearts are broken. Oh, no. Which leads us now to the final two awards of the evening presentation here. And they are, of course, Best Director and Best Picture. First, Best Director. The nominees are Wes Anderson, The Grand Budapest Hotel. Ava DuVernay, yay! Selma, we done her right. David Fincher, Gone Girl, yay! Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, Birdman, and Richard Linklater for Boyhood. The winner is Richard Linklater! Wow! That's certainly interesting. And by the way, if you follow the predictions of Gold Derby posters, am I right here, Daniel, that the users are predicting Linklater wins at the Oscars, right? Or no? The experts are saying Inarritu.
Yeah, I think for picture and director for the Oscars, I think our users are both still for both categories for Boyhood, the majority of them. And although I can't remember if director, it might be closer, but for Best Picture, users still think Boyhood, but our experts have leaned towards Birdman now.
Yeah, very interesting. Which leads us to the Best Picture category here, and we have 10 nominees, y'all. They are Birdman, Boyhood, Gone Girl, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Guardians of the Galaxy, take that, Academy, The Imitation Game, Interstellar, take that, Academy, as well there, baby, Nightcrawler, yay, Gold Derby, boo, Academy for not nominating it, Selma, and Whiplash. And the winner of the prestigious Gold Derby Film Award for Best Picture goes to Boyhood. Just like Best Director, yes. And as Daniel was just saying, this lines up with the predictions at Gold Derby, so I'm wondering if we're seeing just a little wishful thinking here in the Oscar predictions, or maybe they're prescient. Last year, by the way, the Gold Derby users and the top 24 users did better than the experts by one category, and best of all were the editors themselves. So the editors got, 23 out of 24 categories, something like that. And then the users and top 24 users were, I think, two or three categories, and then the experts was one behind that. I'm screwing it up, but you get the idea.
What's interesting is that the voting didn't go the way I expected it to, with a Birdman winning both categories. It won Best Picture by about 50 votes against Birdman in second place, but it won Best Director by closer to 100 votes. So that I would not have expected that to be such a big margin of victory for Richard Linklater against such a director-driven film like Birdman was. I think it's that 12 years. Kind of commitment that really gave Linklater the extra boost. And what's interesting overall is I just want to give some totals. We spread the wealth fairly evenly. Boyhood, Whiplash, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Birdman all won 3 awards apiece. Gone Girl won 2 awards apiece, but that doesn't count Breakthrough Performer. So it essentially won 3 awards with that Breakthrough Performer win. Interstellar won twice, and several others won once.
Wonderful. Charlie, what do you make of all this?
What do I make of all this? Well, I don't have my magic 8-ball with me, so damn it.
Well, I mean, do you approve of the choices? Are you poo-pooing them, or?
No, I think a lot of these are ones that I did vote for. I think that it's a good statement that on a large part we're saying, the Oscars, from what it looks like will happen, in quite a few instances it looks like they'll get it right. But here's our chance to throw a bit of a curveball and say that we're not just all on this, the people that follow the Oscars aren't all on this monolithic, block. We were willing to give, Rosamund Pike the Best Actress award for Gone Girl, and the Best Adapted Screenplay also to Gone Girl, and to see, these interesting choices like that and make up to Guardians of the Galaxy, and to nominate that in several categories, including Best Picture. I think it shows that the Academy does a good job in many instances, but still has a long way to go to actually, not fully represent what the public liked, because let's face it, if that was true, you would have Transformers in the Best Picture category, and I don't have enough heart medication to keep me through that. But there's still a way to go in truly in giving the proper recognition to the films that have earned it.
In our chat room box on the homepage, there's a lot of love for the Rosamund Pike wins. They're saying it's amazing. It's wonderful that she's won twice here. The Boyhood wins are not so popular. Like RDC says, "Wow, Boyhood for Best Picture is quite possibly the worst choice in the history of the Gold Derby Film Awards." Canadian fan says, "Well, Linklater is way more likable." That's his thought or her thought on him beating Inarritu for Best Director. What else? Anyway, in general, I think there's a lot of agreement here.
Yeah, I like the fact that either Gold Derby is going to prove to be the eeriest, craziest Oscar crystal ball, or this will be the biggest deviation from the Oscars that we've had in a few years, which I actually like. If the Oscars go to Birdman and to Julianne Moore, who cares? Obviously our opinions are the ones that matter the most. They're the ones that I'll remember. Honestly, I'll probably remember our winners more than the Gold Derby Film Award, or more than the Oscar winners anyway. So,
Damn right.
So I think I'm happy with this list, even though not everyone I voted for won. But
take us back in time, Daniel, to past wins. Some of your observations on those.
Well, past wins, we used to do these through private ballots, private messaging in our forums for the first, I think, 7 or 8 years of the Gold Derby Awards, and they were much more eclectic, unusual winners in a good way. We picked WALL-E for Best Picture. We picked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind for Best Picture. Since we switched over to the Prediction Center, we have a lot more people voting, and we have agreed with Best Picture every year for the last 3, since we've been voting using the Prediction Center as we've been doing now. So that could either mean good news for Boyhood at the Oscars, or good news for Gold Derby's independent thinking.
Okay. I would suspect that, given the automation factor of our prediction process, that would lead to more kind of automatic thinking in terms of whatever the other award favorites are. Charlie, how did you vote? Tattle on your own ballot here. You might as well.
Let me see here. So, if I am recalling correctly, let me see. I'm pretty sure I deviated a little bit with Best Song. I did go with Everything Is Awesome from the Lego Movie. I just think it's such a great little little ditty, and it's just a personal favorite. I'm trying to think. I think I voted for Snowpiercer for production design. I did vote for Michael Keaton for Best Actor, and I did vote for Rosamund Pike for Best Actress. So that win gave me just a little bit. I just gave me a little bit more joy, and a lot of these I did agree with. I did vote for Nightcrawler for original screenplay.
Oh, really? I voted for it for Best Picture, and I gave Best Director to Wes Anderson. I was just doing kooky things, but I love Nightcrawler so much. And I don't know if I've told you guys this or not, but the very final scene in the movie where Jake Gyllenhaal is stepping out of the police station and crosses Wilcox Avenue in Hollywood is right here at the corner of my building. So you actually see this corner behind me, the outside of the building, is the last final shot of the movie. Hey, it's just a little bit of awards trivia here for you. Daniel, what did you vote for?
I didn't think I had voted for that many of the winners, but I did vote for a few. I mean, for Best Picture, I voted for Interstellar. I knew that wasn't going to win, but obviously, I can't not vote for the best movie in the category just because it's not going to win. And Christopher Nolan wasn't up for Best Director, so I went with Ava DuVernay there. I think I went with Eddie Redmayne for Best Actor, but Redmayne and Keaton were sort of neck and neck to me. I couldn't sort of decide very confidently between them. And I voted for Marion Cotillard for Best
Oh,
Actress.
of course you did. Oh.
Because she was amazing.
Yeah.
I voted for J.K. Simmons. I was one of the stampede for J.K. Simmons. I think I voted for Tilda Swinton for Supporting Actress. I went with Whiplash for Original Screenplay. I went with Gone Girl for Adapted Screenplay, which won.
Good boy.
I went with David Oyelowo for Breakthrough Performer. I wish he'd finished higher. Let's see, where else did I do something interesting? I picked Whiplash for film editing. I picked Guardians of the Galaxy for Best Makeup and Hair. I don't love it as much as like a lot of critics did overall, but that was by far the best makeup achievement of the year, and it's as good as Grand Budapest Hotel is. I think it's going to be kind of criminal if Guardians loses the Oscar. Score, Interstellar, I loved. That was probably my favorite win because I voted for Interstellar for Best Score. I picked Glory for Best Song, Grand Budapest for Production Design. I picked, I can't remember what I picked for animated. I might have gone with the Box Trolls just because I sort of liked all the animated films evenly. But that was the only one I was sort of, if we had nominated Song of the Sea, that would have been my #1 choice. And then I picked Citizen 4 for documentary, which won, yay. And I voted for 2 Days, One Night for a foreign language film, which didn't win.
Of course you did. I'm going to have to come up with a new reason to disqualify voters for lack of taste, according to the editor-in-chief. And you're in trouble, kiddo. You're in big trouble. So I voted for, what did I vote for here? For Best Foreign Language Film, Mommy. That is such a great movie.
That is outstanding,
yeah, it really is. Documentary.
25 years old that director is. 25.
I know.
I'm 28. I've done nothing with my life.
You bum! I've met him, and he's done webcam chat with us. He's very, very fascinating guy, and he's had like 7 or 8 movies, Charlie. This isn't his first.
I know, it's his 5th movie.
Right. What else did I vote for here? I hated Citizen 4. It was so boring, so I went with Virunga, just because I want to save the poor monkeys. And I went with Big Hero 6, of course. That's my favorite animated movie of the year. Visual effects, I don't remember what the hell I went with there. Song, I went with Everything is Awesome. Score, I went with Theory of Everything. I don't remember what all I went with and all that stuff. Whiplash for film editing. Production design, Into the Woods. Costume, I went with Into the Woods. And when I went to Breakthrough Performer, of course, Rosamund Pike there. Gold Derby, I came up with the right answer, and the right one with Ensemble, with Birdman, and the right one with Adapted Screenplay. Original Screenplay, I went with Whiplash, and I went with Meryl Streep for Supporting Actress, and Andy Serkis Supporting Actor, Rosamund Pike for Actress. What did I do for Actor? I think I went with Eddie, and Wes Anderson and Nightcrawler. But that's...
and poor Meryl Streep. Poor Meryl Streep. Like, I mean, not that she needs another Gold Derby Film Award. I think we've given her like 8 already, but she finished last for Supporting Actress.
Oh no, Meryl! Oh, poor Dave.
I have to make a correction. I just found my predictions. I did not vote for Michael Keaton for Best Actor. I voted for Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, good boy.
I love to please.
You will not be disqualified for poor taste. Like Daniel is dangerously close to me. All right, well, let's wrap it up here, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Daniel, for leading the way here. Good job, and I think our list is commendable, full of nice surprises and worthy choices. Thank you all for voting, for watching, for caring, and we're going to spread the news around Hollywood now that these are the winners that really matter. Screw those Oscars. Goodbye. Thank you.